And we'd like to welcome all of you who are watching online. Unity is a community of people who recognize the personal sovereignty of all sentient beings, especially the human ones. Regardless of race, religion, socioeconomic situations, sexual orientation, all are welcome here. It's a community of welcoming. And we would like to do our mission statement. We are a vibrant, welcoming, multi-generational community embodying love and awakening spiritual consciousness. And now we'd like to welcome Soulshine.
We don't sing from our seat, we sing from our feet. Everybody get up. I love that part. We're going to do a little call and response. I'm going to sing some words and you're going to sing. State of freedom. That's simple, man. Yeah. I woke up this morning with my mind. You sing now.
State of freedom. State on freedom.
I woke up this morning with my mind.
State on freedom. Hallelujah.
Try it again. Walking and talking with my mind. What do you say now?
State on freedom.
Oh yeah. I'm walking and talking with my mind. State of freedom. I'm walking and talking with my mind. You sing now.
State on freedom.
Hallelujah. 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 Let's have some fun. This little light of mine. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna let it shine. Oh yeah. This little light of mine. Oh yeah. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. Oh yeah. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. All around this great big world. All around this great big world. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna let it shine.
Let's hear you, come on. All around the great big world, I'm gonna let it shine, yeah. All around the great big world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Try this one again. I woke up this morning with my mind. What do you say? State of freedom. Yeah. I woke up this morning with my mind. You sing.
State on freedom.
I woke up this morning with my mind. You sing one more time. State of freedom. Hallelujah. 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 Give it up. Nice job, everybody.
And now we're going to ask Claire of Claires, a celebrator of celebrations, to come up and do celebrations with us.
Me a celebration, and I don't have them in my contacts, so I don't know who it is, but they're celebrating that the doctor gave them, okayed them to be able to drive. Does anybody know who that might be? Whoever they are, we are celebrating that, yay, you still get to drive. Let's see, and what? You already had a celebration here. You're going to get two? For your daughter, okay, for Grace.
Oh,
What?
my.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. What did she get? All right. Sweet. Nice, nice. To be 16 and have your first car, remember that? Man, mine was a beater old red rabbit that had like the hood had to be tied down with a rope, and but it was red, and it was a rabbit, so I thought I was the coolest thing in the world, right? All right. Let's see, Dave's other celebration is he was in a movie yesterday. It was a small role, but it was pretty exciting. It was a good experience. So, but he told me this morning, he said he just froze and forgot his line. And I don't know if I believe that, because this man is not short on words ever. So, to be on camera, put him on, if you need him to be quiet, you just put him on camera and he'll. I just got to tease you. All right, and let's see. Terry Sandusky is excited to be updating. She does the Bend Health Guide. We've got some back here, but she's getting we're updating the website and making the coolest online health directory. So if any of you need that, and she's got some amazing copies there. She's a wonderful member of Unity. And let's see, Jocelyn Adams Elsenlore, right? Is that how you pronounce her last name? Okay. Her husband, Fred, had a surgery, and it was short and sweet. Short hospital stay. Everything was a success, so we are celebrating that, knowing that he is healing. And now to some live celebrations. Who here has a celebration they would like to share? All right. Yay. Hi.
So I'm Mary Elizabeth, and I just want to celebrate being here. I found you guys in January. I moved to Bend, but I've been following you for 6 months. Jane, your sister-in-law, Loma, is my prayer partner. Yes, it's made the transition really a whole lot better. We finally made it here 2 weeks ago. We traveled via camper across the country, moved to Bend, and so I am just so happy to be here.
Yay, we are so happy to have you. Welcome. Yeah. And Reverend Jim has it. Look at him. He's like ready to yank the microphone out of my hand. Here you go. There you go. All yours.
Yeah, I'm celebrating that our neighbors, Michael and Sveta, are here. Is this the first time? Okay, welcome.
I know. Wonderful to see some new faces. And Donna, what's your celebration?
My friend Alea is here visiting, thinking of moving here, that number one. Number two, I have a new ride. I prayed for it last week. I got my new car.
Yay. You and Grace can go out.
Yes. It's, my little Kia Soul named Guinevere. And my third one is I just want to thank you for the prayers. I had a little concern about my eye. I was sent to the retina specialist. Everything is okie and dokie.
As we knew it would be, right? Anyone else? Oh, and Nate had a celebration. Okay. He's celebrating. I forgot. You did share your celebration. Here you go.
I'm in the mood today, so you can hear me from here. I'm celebrating the woman to whom I am married, Erin, who is currently in Glide, Oregon, which is outside of Roseburg, on the front lines of a Jack fire, feeding 1,000 firemen with 1,300 people. Doing right by the world. Somebody's got to do it. In her first 3 days, she worked 40 hours. Her first shift was 17. So I'm celebrating her and her courage and her strength to go do what needs to be done right now.
Yay, yes. Yay, Aaron. And I'm celebrating with Kevin and I had a wonderful camping trip this past week at Wallowa Lake. We have never been out there. What an amazing, cute little town of Joseph, and that so beautiful. And we had a quick announcement, because I'm going to make a quick announcement because I don't think it's in the announcements afterwards. Jim, do you want to share that?
So about a month ago, I sent out an invite to all the men of Unity to a barbecue July 15th, that's this Thursday, at 6 to 8 p.m. So if you haven't already RSVP'd, please do so we know how much food to get, okay? It's going to be right here, outside, so we're casual,
Men only. It's the men's group. All right. Okay. All right, and back to you, William.
Indeed. Well, this is our time of sharing. The object of this exercise is to pick someone you don't know, but especially someone you don't live with. And we're going to spend a few minutes sharing how we have felt or experienced freedom in a relationship. There's a few relationships in my life where I don't have to put on any pretenses. I can talk about what's going on and feel like I'm heard, and even be able to vent things that make me look like a total curmudgeon and know that I'm not going to be judged. So if you could pick someone, definitely someone you don't live with, preferably someone you don't know, just to speak a few minutes about the relationships in your life where you experience real freedom and acceptance. Oh, and for those online, to chat about those experiences in your life, especially experiences where you may feel troubled or holding back on talking about a feeling or experience, but someone you can really talk to and let that go. I can see this is a rich subject. And everyone is just so engrossed in it. I'm talking into a cave. So now is our time for prayer, everyone. If you don't mind, I'm trying to be here right now. Okay, I want to say something briefly about affirmative prayer because we're about to do an affirmative prayer. Earlier when I mentioned the idea of unity looking at people not from the outside in, not by race or creed or color or how much money you have or how white your teeth are, unity is about who we are from the inside out. And that's really critical because no matter where you go, you're there. You may be in a beautiful forest, you might be in traffic, but what's really important and what we really have some control over is about what's going on inside of us. I learned something really important, and I remember I would be really embarrassed when I couldn't remember someone's name. In fact, there were times where I would know someone for years and then see them and not remember their name. And I remember I would say to myself, I'm terrible with names. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm terrible with names. And when I learned the power of affirmative prayer, I started saying, I can't recall your name, but I'm getting better with names. And I will tell you what, I am getting better with names. What we say to ourselves has so much power over how we feel about ourselves in relationship to the world. So let's have a little practice on affirmative prayer. Okay, close your eyes with me and take a breath. And what's amazing is we breathe 24 hours a day with little conscious thought about it. Right now, our hearts are beating with little conscious thought about it. So let's come down to our center, that place that witnesses everything we perceive of through our physical senses, and also is a front row seat to the giant show of our minds. And let's affirm for a moment that the point of our consciousness is sourced from an infinite, eternal, divine source. Let's affirm for a moment that we were worthy the moment we were born. And even if we forget that, we can always remember it again. Let's affirm that here in Unity we have a welcoming, vibrant community, a place where we can grow spiritually, a place where we can be supported, a place where we can find a purpose in life and meaning. And just assert that to ourselves, that we are worthy of that, and so it is. And now we have Jane coming up to do our meditation. Oh, soul shine.
This is a simple little prayer chanting, as we call it. I breathe. My wife and I wrote it. I don't even know the name. It's called No. Breathe in and know
Let go and know I
And so we just hear that squealing, that I am. And we bring ourselves inward, somewhere between the the sacred quiet of that, breathing in I am, and the squealing jubilance of I am. And we allow ourselves to remember the truth. I am. And as we breathe, I invite us all to just keep affirming that mantra, I am. And let's have a practice of freedom where, whether it's a distraction or a thought, we just notice it and set it free and come back to our center, I am. And how beautiful that we have this child who is a guru for us, who is helping us to let go of the outer and come into the center. I am. I am. I am. And as we steep ourselves in that knowing, we remind ourselves that we are forever and always free, because we are not our circumstances. We are the I am, eternal, unbounded love, free. And so it is.
Love is real. Real is love. Love is feeling. Feeling love. Love is wanting to be loved. Love is touch. Touch is love. Love is reaching, reaching love. Love is asking to be loved. Love is you and me. Love is knowing we can be. Love is free. Free is love. Love is living.
myriad of ways. Freedom expresses itself in a myriad of ways. It is an individual knowing how it resonates and is acted upon. Is it the freedom to sing, to dance, to be creative in a resistant arena? Is it a way of speaking that might have been criticized or even stopped centuries ago? Is it a freedom to choose our friends and hobbies? Believe it or not, in relationships, one might want to dominate and repress the other at times. So therein lies the freedom to leave or ask for help. For we cannot be free if we feel like a wrung-out dish towel who has been oft repeating their desires to deaf ears. So freedom is one's comeuppance when the boiling point has been reached and the only way to be free is to fly away. That is one kind of freedom. And then there is the freedom to love, to actually love, to hold the other in the divine light that they were born into. The freedom to hold up the mirror and reflect upon the oneness that we are. Freedom to see the beauty in all beings and choose the high road of connection. We must cherish this freedom, for so many cannot even pray their prayers out loud, or speak their mind, or dance their dance. Deep bow to freedom. It allowed me to write this poem freely.
That is so beautiful. I love your poetry. And Victor and Dave, that song was just beautiful. I loved all the piano pieces in there. It made it so much richer than when I'd heard it before, so thank you for that. Freedom is really a key component in any relationship. It's an important part of our relationships with our intimate partners, but it's also an important part in any relationship, whether it's our friends, our children, our grandchildren, our parents. If freedom is not there, love is not there. Suffocation is there instead. We have to allow one another to express in the way that they express. And sometimes it's a way that we don't like. Now, there are ways that people express that are like, hell no, that won't happen. And that's called a boundary. And that means, maybe you go separate ways. Or maybe there's a timeout, depending on how old the person is you're talking to. But there are things that you don't allow. Freedom doesn't mean anybody can do anything in your space and it's okay. It doesn't mean that, because you have to decide. Remember, we talked a couple of weeks ago about commitment and commitment to yourself. And so you have to know what's important to you and when a line has been crossed that may not be crossed. And so if it's been crossed, then there has to be a consequence. You are not supposed to just take anything. So, but as long as we're not talking about a line that can't be crossed, there's a lot of things our partners and our children and our parents and everybody, even our friends, do or say or think that we don't like. We had lunch yesterday with someone who's been a dear friend of mine for a very long time, and she got into the political conversation, and it was just like, we did not agree with her. And yet, I'm not going to say, all right, I'm canceling you as a friend. I'm probably going to say, let's not talk about that. Or let's talk about it in very small doses while I practice giving you the freedom to express what you think, even though it's very different from what I think. And, I have, an amount of time I can do that, and I can be gracious. And then I have to know when my limit is and maybe change the subject. I had some experiences this last week. I said in the video, if you had a chance to watch that in the newsletter, that no sooner had I entered into the shared document, okay, this is my topic, I'm going to talk about freedom, then practice. I always think the universe is really good at giving pop quizzes. Oh, okay, you think you know something? Let's try it. And so the very first thing that happened is I'm on a conference team for the Northwest region, and we're preparing an online conference for September. And we've been working on this since last September. And suddenly the person who is in charge of one area said, I can't do this anymore. I have to quit. And I said, now? and she's quitting right at the point where somebody else who's on the team is going on sabbatical. And so I'm thinking like, oh, here I go again. Now more gets on my shoulders because, as you know, if you know me, that I'm good at taking on more than I should. And so I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And I know this person really well, and I just adore this person. And I didn't want to trap this person and say, no, you can't do that. You made a commitment. You have to do that. You're not going to be my friend anymore if you don't do that. I couldn't do any of that. So I was left with have to let that person have the freedom. At the same time, I get to express, damn, I don't like this at all. And I could tell the person that, but I couldn't say, you can't be free. I couldn't say, you have to do this. And it even occurred to me that I could practice the principles that I actually preach here. Like Godness, good is everywhere present. Now, I will grant you that in certain circumstances, you have to do a lot of scraping of paint and dirt that's gotten accumulated before you find the glowing godness under it. But it's there. It's there in every circumstance. And so when something happens where we're like, oh no, what am I going to do now? This is terrible, which is our first reaction, right? I mean, we've all been there. The second reaction, and maybe someday we'll be enlightened enough it'll be the first reaction. I don't know, I'm not there yet. But as long as we get there, and that's why we have spiritual community, because if we don't get there, maybe we'll be talking to somebody else, ranting, and they'll say, yeah, I hear you, and maybe there's some goodness, and maybe we'll listen when they say that. So what if, even in this circumstance, something better is wanting to emerge? Better than what we thought we needed? What if that is happening? We had, last week I said, yay, we have Claire and we have Carol. This is so exciting for the operations manager. And then 2 days later, Carol said, the more I pray into this, the more I realize this is not the right choice for me right now. And I was in this, but Carol has all these gifts, and she was going to be able to do this and that, and we needed this, and now what? And I mean, that was my first reaction. And I felt so disappointed. And I had been so looking forward to working with Carol and the gifts that Carol brought, and but I couldn't say, but you said yes, so now you have to, and now it's going to be the march. You're going to be in this position, and you're going to like it. That doesn't work. And so, again, I have to affirm there is good in this. There is good, and already there's something bubbling up that, well, maybe this could be great. And it isn't, I'm not even going to say what it is, because it's still, when something is growing, when something's a little seedling, you don't put it out in the hot sun, right? You let it grow and get strong enough before you put it out in the sun. And so it's the same thing with this. When something goes away, maybe you begin to get an inkling of something that's growing, that could be possible, that could be beautiful. And you just have to give it a little breathing room. You have to remind yourself and keep claiming that in the great I am, there are no mistakes. Everything is growing beautifully. It's okay. And be patient and give it time to grow, just like it's gestation. We always want things to grow, like hurry up, but we don't. We don't want our babies born before their time. We want to give them all that spaciousness. And it's a good thing that we have that pregnancy experience, because once they get there, we're going to have a lot more times to practice giving them space to figure things out, right? We're going to have a lot of time to practice freedom and letting them have the opportunity to discover what's right for them. And they with us. Donna, when you were reading that prayer about freedom to dance and sing it, I just had this flashback to when my daughters were in middle school. And I lived just a block from Pilot Butte Middle School, where they went to school. And before they got back, and I was back into mom duty, I can remember I would be dancing, and I'm there in the, and there's a big plate glass window, and I'm dancing to the music, and they're walking down the street, and it's like, oh, there's my mom being weird again. And they were sort of forced to give me the freedom to be weird, because I was the only mom they had. But on the other hand, we'd go someplace in the radio, and I gave them the freedom, in the car, and I'd give them the freedom to pick the songs on the radio. And when they were that age, it was like, oh, the songs that they picked, it was like punk rock, all this, or heavy metal, or, even sometimes they would pick the chanting from Warm Springs, and they did it not because they had this great spiritual connection to the Native American tradition. They did it because they thought it would irritate me, because I wasn't into it. So they're just, there's this flow that has to happen that gives breath into a relationship, no matter who it is. With our intimate partners, I was listening to songs, not just the songs that we chose for today, but I started paying attention to the songs that I would hear on the radio. And there's a lot of songs out there about romantic love that are, I just want to be close to you. Like, Sting's Stalker song about, with every breath you take, I'll be watching you. And we have this idea of relationships that means we are not just joined at the hip, but we're going to share breath, every breath. And don't go over there, because I need you here, because you're my other half. And what will happen if you're not here? Then I won't be whole. And it's a ridiculous idea. It is not truth. Each one of us is whole and complete. And we need to allow one another freedom to be who they are, even when who they are is not what we would prefer. We need to allow them freedom to have their own interests, to take their own trips if they want to go take a trip. I know Jim and Joanne Pasmore have been friends of mine for a long time, and I think they do this really well. Joanne is way more, she's the queen of the castle. She likes to be home. She likes the dogs. She's just really happy being there in her domain. And Jim, as you may know, is not only off traveling the world a lot, but if he's not doing that, he's off on his motorcycle or in a cave or doing some daredevil thing that leads to, near-death experiences on a routine basis. And yet they make this work. Their relationship is such a beautiful model for what happens when you give somebody the space to be themselves. And then when they come back together, they have all that richness instead of resentment. Imagine what it would be like if you just take them as an example. Imagine what it would be like if you took a Jim Passmore and said, you have to stay home all the time. She's probably tried it, and that's how she knows it doesn't work. But we have to give one another freedom. And when we do, we benefit because our relationships grow richer because we know this other person with a greater depth than we would have been able to know them before. It's so important to give them that freedom. In our spiritual community, I think we get practice a lot too. I've had people who have been very involved in unity. People that I dearly love, and then they decide, okay, I need to step away. Or sometimes it's like, I'm never darkening these doors again for whatever reason. There's all kinds of reasons. And sometimes it's not feeling right now for me to come here. Sometimes it's a reason I understand, and sometimes it's not. But I have to allow them the freedom to do what feels right for them and not to withhold my love. That's the key. We don't withhold our love. Because that's like taking our identity and saying, I am not who I am. Because we are love. So if we were withholding love, then we're not being ourselves. We have to just keep being love and letting people be and trust that there is enough. If you walk away from me, I am not lacking because I am whole. I am not dependent on you for my wholeness. That's who I am. I am not dependent on you for my good. Good is everywhere. And if I just stop squawking and tune in, I will find what I need flowing freely. You are not the source of that. You are my dance partner. And even if I'm doing this and you're dancing to punk rock, we still are in the great I am. And it's okay. Think about right now. Let's take a couple of minutes just to let this all land inside of you. A couple of minutes in silence. And just ask yourself, where could I allow more freedom in one of my relationships? Where might I be trying to control someone? And where could I just open my hands a little bit, open my heart a little more? No, let's bring soul shine back.
You can do what you want to do. You can say what you want to say. You can turn your back on me. I will love you either way. I will love you either way. When there's nothing more to say, you can go where you need to go. You can stay when you need to stay. You can follow every dream. I will love you either way. Yes, I will love you either way. When there's no more dreams to chase, I will love you either way. We were born before the wind, also younger than the sun. Yeah, the bonnie boat was one as we sailed into the mystic. Hark, now hear the sailors cry. Smell the sea, feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the mystic. You can fall when you need to fall. You can make a lifetime of mistakes. You can blame them all on me. I will love you either way. Yes, I will love you either way. When there are no more mistakes to make, you can live how you want to live. You can turn your back on me, and I will love you either way. And I will love you either way. And I want to rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. And together we will sail into the mystic. And I will love you either way.
At Unity, we believe in prayer, assertive, intentional, and we have prayer forms ahead of you in the chair. You're welcome to fill those out, and also online there are prayer forms also. The prayers are prayed on here at Unity for a week, and then sit off to Silent Unity and prayed there for a month. And the concept of intentional thought manifesting into reality. And it's time for our offering, if the ushers will pick up the baskets. This is our opportunity to contribute to something beautiful, to a community of spiritual teaching, a structure of development. And we have texting for contributions online also. Everything is just the way it should be.
It's a lot of fun, but it's a real treat. So,
Gratitude in my heart. I got gratitude in my soul. I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for it all. Feeling groovy. Thank you for. I got gratitude in my heart. I got gratitude in my soul. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for it all. Feeling groovy. Thank you for it all.
And now let's bless these gifts. From the love of pure spirit within us, we bless these gifts. We send them forth to heal and bless and prosper. They are evidence of our faith and belief. They do good work in the community and return to us multiplied abundantly, and so it is. Starting Tuesday, the 13th, we have a prayer class with Jane. Through the book Praying Without Speaking, without talking to God, which is an interesting concept because most of us grew up, pleading with God. The concept of being able to pray and embody what we want and see that manifest without beseeching or begging, but about confidently asserting what we desire in this world. And I'm going to take the class, and I'm looking forward to it too. And and sign up online, of course. There's a whole internet world out there, which is present here too now. Just go to the calendar. And prayer protection. Oh, I did want to mention, I see new people in here. There's a blue card in the pocket in front of you in the chair. And also online, you can sign up to give contact information so we can keep you abreast of what's going on with Unity. And then we have Ananda Yoga Concert coming up July 24th at 7 p.m. Of course, yes.
Ananda Yogiji, many of you have seen him here before. He's amazing. He's doing a house concert, which is a private house concert for just 25 people. That's on the 24th.
There's just a couple seats left.
Couple seats left for that one. And then he's going to do a full concert here on the 29th of August, and that'll be open to everyone as far as the capacity of this place, and then you'll have a full band with him then and all that. So it's amazing. The last concert was so much fun. We loved it.
And now we have the prayer protection. Yay! I know exactly what I'm doing. Okay. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love of God. The power of God protects me. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is because I am.